Have you ever found yourself feeling uncomfortable down there and thought, is this just part of getting older? Maybe you've noticed things don't work quite like they used to, or perhaps you're just curious if there's something more you could be doing to stay healthy and confident in your skin. You're not alone. As we age, it's easy to assume that certain changes are inevitable or that it's too late to start caring for our bodies in new ways. But the truth is, no matter your age, you have more control over your health and comfort than you might think. Now, I get it, this isn't exactly the kind of topic that comes up over coffee with friends. But that's exactly why it's so important we talk about it openly, without embarrassment or shame. Penis health is about more than performance. It's about comfort, hygiene, confidence, and your overall well-being. And after 50, your body deserves a little extra attention. Not because it's failing, but because it's earned it. In this video, we're going to have a real conversation about something most men don't get nearly enough information about. We'll go over 5 simple, practical tips to help you take better care of your penis, especially as you get older. These aren't complicated or embarrassing. They're straightforward habits that can help you stay healthier, more comfortable, and yes, more confident. So, let's dive in and start with something simple, but often overlooked: cleanliness. You'd be surprised how many men, especially as they get older, develop skin irritations, discomfort, or even infections simply because their hygiene habits haven't changed since they were in their 20s. The truth is, your skin changes as you age. It gets drier, more sensitive, and more prone to irritation. So what worked fine 30 years ago might not be cutting it today. One of the most important things you can do is gently clean the area every day, but without going overboard. Harsh soaps, scrubbing, or using scented products can actually make things worse. A mild, fragrance-free soap and warm water are all you need. And if you're uncircumcised, it's important to gently pull back the foreskin and rinse underneath. It sounds basic, but it makes a big difference. I spoke to a man recently who said he'd started having redness and discomfort but didn't want to bother his doctor. He thought it was just part of getting older. But all it took was switching to a gentler soap and drying carefully afterward, and the issue cleared up within a week. Sometimes it really is that simple, small changes that protect your skin and avoid irritation can keep you feeling a whole lot better. That brings me to something else that's just as important: moisture. It might sound odd at first, why would you want to moisturize your penis? But hear me out. As you age, your skin naturally becomes drier, including in sensitive areas. Dry skin can lead to itching, cracking, or that uncomfortable tight feeling. And in some cases, it can even create tiny tears in the skin that invite bacteria or fungus in. Using a light, unscented moisturizer can help keep the skin supple and prevent irritation. You don't need to slather it on, just a small amount once or twice a day after showering is often enough. Think of it like taking care of your face or your hands. You wouldn't go through a dry winter without lotion, right? The same principle applies. And this isn't just about comfort, it's also about confidence. When you're not dealing with chafing, irritation, or that nagging itch that keeps showing up at the worst times, you feel better about yourself. You walk differently, carry yourself differently. Even if you're not sexually active, comfort matters. Confidence matters. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get brought up often, but really should: blood flow. Healthy circulation is key to keeping your penis in good shape, not just for sexual health, but for overall tissue health too. As you get older, it's common for blood flow to slow down. This can lead to everything from erectile changes to numbness or a decrease in sensitivity. But the good news is, there are things you can do to keep your circulation strong. Staying physically active is one of the best ways to support blood flow. You don't need to run marathons. Regular walking, gentle stretching, or even a few minutes of light exercise each day can make a difference. I knew a gentleman in his 70s who started doing simple yoga at home. Not only did it help his flexibility and balance, but he also noticed improved sensitivity and fewer problems in the bedroom. Another tip? Try not to sit for too long. Long periods of sitting, especially on hard surfaces, can compress the nerves and restrict blood flow. So every hour or so, stand up, move around, stretch your legs. It's a small habit, but over time it adds up. And don't forget hydration. It may not seem connected, but staying well hydrated helps your blood vessels function better, and that helps your entire body, including your most sensitive areas. Let's be real, nobody wants to deal with discomfort, embarrassment, or issues that could have been prevented with just a bit of extra care. These changes aren't about chasing youth, they're about honoring the body you've lived in all these years, and giving it what it needs to keep thriving. Now that we've talked about hygiene, moisturizing, and blood flow, there's another essential piece of the puzzle that every older man should be paying attention to, and that essential piece is regular self-checks. Now, this isn't about becoming overly anxious or examining yourself in the mirror every day with a magnifying glass. It's about awareness. Just like you might keep an eye on your blood pressure or cholesterol, it's important to check in with your body, especially in areas that are easy to ignore until something goes wrong. Doing a quick self-check once a month can help you catch any unusual changes early, like lumps, bumps, discoloration, or persistent irritation. Most of the time, it's nothing serious, but it's better to notice something small now than wait until it becomes something bigger. And you'd be amazed how many men skip this simply because it feels awkward or unnecessary. But think about it, if you saw a strange spot on your hand, you'd probably take a closer look or ask someone about it, right? Your penis deserves the same attention. One man I spoke with, he was in his late 60s, said he hadn't thought twice about a rough patch of skin near the base until it started to hurt. Turned out it was a minor fungal infection, totally treatable with a topical cream. But by the time he got it checked, it had spread and become more uncomfortable than it ever needed to be. A simple check-in, just once a month, could have saved him weeks of discomfort. Here's the thing, your doctor can't see what you don't show them. And as we get older, we tend to see healthcare more reactively instead of proactively. But staying in tune with your body gives you the power to act early, stay ahead of problems, and protect your health without fear or hesitation. And speaking of being proactive, there's one more important tip that might surprise you: what you wear makes a big difference. Yes, I'm talking about your underwear. Now, I know some of us have been wearing the same style since we were 20, maybe even the same brand, same cut, same everything. But just like your body changes with age, your clothing should adjust to meet your comfort and health needs. Tight underwear or synthetic fabrics can trap moisture, cause chafing, and reduce airflow. That creates a perfect storm for irritation, rashes, and infections, especially if you live in a warmer climate or sweat more than you used to. Switching to breathable cotton underwear or moisture-wicking fabrics designed for sensitive skin can make a huge difference in daily comfort. Also, consider the fit. As men age, it's common for the scrotum to sag a little more due to natural changes in connective tissue. There's no shame in that, it happens to almost everyone. But if your underwear isn't offering the right support, that sagging can lead to discomfort when walking, sitting, or even sleeping. A supportive, gentle pouch design can help keep things in place without being restrictive. Think comfort over style, though thankfully, a lot of modern brands offer both. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 72, walks every morning, and used to deal with constant itching and soreness afterward. He thought it was just part of aging, but after switching to breathable boxer briefs and using a mild powder during warmer months, the difference was night and day. Sometimes, it really is the little things that improve your quality of life in big ways. And don't forget nighttime comfort. Sleeping in loose-fitting boxers or even going commando under clean, soft pajamas can give your skin a break and allow air circulation during the night. Just make sure your bedding is clean and your room isn't too warm. Heat and sweat can do a number on your skin if you're not careful. So between regular self-checks and smart clothing choices, you've already got two powerful tools in your belt for better penis health. These aren't dramatic lifestyle changes. They're gentle shifts that work with your body, not against it. The kind of care that respects your years and helps you feel more at ease in your own skin. And here's something else to keep in mind: this kind of self-care isn't selfish, and it's not about vanity. It's about taking responsibility for your comfort, your confidence, and your peace of mind. When you feel good physically, it has a ripple effect through the rest of your life, your mood, your relationships, your sense of purpose. It's all connected. Now, I know for some of you, this might be the first time you've heard someone talk this openly about these topics. Maybe it even feels a bit strange. But there's no reason it should. You've spent a lifetime caring for other people, your family, your work, your community. You deserve to care for yourself too, in every way that matters. Next, there's one more crucial area we need to talk about when it comes to long-term penis health, something that affects millions of older men but often goes unspoken. It's deeply tied to your sense of identity, your emotional well-being, and even your relationship with your partner, if you have one. And while it might feel like a sensitive topic, it's one of the most empowering steps you can take to feel like yourself again. Because what we're about to talk about is erectile health. Now, before you roll your eyes or start to feel uneasy, hear me out. This isn't just about sex. Sure, that's part of it, but erectile health is really a reflection of your overall vascular and nerve function. If things aren't working like they used to, it's not just frustrating, it can be a sign that your body is asking for attention. And here's the truth most men aren't told: changes in erections after 50 are common, but they're not something you just have to live with. They're manageable. They're treatable. And in many cases, they can even be improved with a few intentional habits. A lot of men think, well, that ship has sailed, or maybe I'm just too old for that part of my life anymore. But age alone isn't the reason for most of these changes. It's often related to blood pressure, cholesterol, stress, weight, medications, or even low testosterone. That means there's something you can do about it. First and foremost, don't be afraid to talk to your doctor. I know that's easier said than done, but you're not going to surprise them. This is something they talk about every single day, whether it's your primary doctor or a urologist. And chances are, they've heard stories just like yours dozens of times before. If you're feeling hesitant, remind yourself that you're not complaining, you're being proactive. You're showing care and responsibility for your health. That's strength, not weakness. But beyond medical advice, there are natural ways to support erectile function. We touched on physical activity earlier, and it plays a big role here too. Even light cardio, brisk walking, gentle cycling, a few stretches in the morning can help improve circulation and stamina. Your diet matters too. Foods that support heart health also support erectile health. That means leafy greens, berries, nuts, whole grains, and healthy fats like olive oil. And don't forget to manage your stress. Tension and anxiety, especially if you're feeling performance pressure, can create a cycle that's hard to break. Taking time for mindfulness, breathing exercises, or even just moments of stillness during your day can ease that mental strain. And yes, intimacy matters. Whether you're in a long-term relationship, dating again, or simply exploring self-pleasure, physical connection and stimulation keep the nervous system engaged and the blood flowing. It's like any other part of the body, use it or lose it. And there's no shame in staying sexually active in whatever way feels right to you. One older gentleman I met, he was 79, retired, full of stories, shared with me how he'd given up on intimacy after his wife passed away. Not because he wanted to, but because he assumed his age disqualified him. Then, after finally opening up to a doctor and learning about a few options, he said, I didn't realize how much of myself I'd shut off. I feel alive again. That stuck with me. It's never just about the physical, it's about identity, vitality, connection. So, let's take a breath here. We've talked about hygiene, moisturization, circulation, regular self-checks, supportive clothing, and now erectile health. These aren't huge, complicated changes, they're small shifts. Small choices that say, I'm still here. I still matter. I'm still in charge of my health. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. Maybe you start by switching to a more comfortable pair of underwear. Maybe you take a walk every morning or swap your soap for a gentler one. Maybe you finally make that appointment with your doctor and have the conversation you've been putting off. Any one of these is a powerful step in the right direction. And listen, getting older doesn't mean you have to give up comfort, confidence, or feeling good in your body. If anything, this chapter of life is a time to invest in yourself more deeply. You've earned that. You deserve to feel healthy, respected, and at ease in your own skin. So if this video sparked some ideas or even just made you feel a little more seen, share that. Leave a comment. Let us know what stood out to you or what you've discovered in your own health journey. Sometimes, just hearing another man say, "Yeah, I dealt with that too," can make a world of difference. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you think might benefit. We talk about a lot of things here: aging, health, relationships, and always with one goal in mind: helping you live your best life, with strength, clarity, and confidence. Here's to that next walk, that next checkup, that next good night's sleep. Here's to comfort, self-respect, and living fully, no matter what age the calendar says. You've still got a lot of life to live. So let's make it a good one.